Hi, thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 15th of June 2017, and I'm basically just adding my 2 cents on something. For any of you who know, or the people who know about Marty and his videos, you know what's going on. And I'm just going to tell you a story about it. People who don't, Marty used to help with Miscavige. He was the Inspector General, then he left, he made this big blog, all these people kind of followed him, not me, not a bunch of us, but bunches of people did, and I'm sorry for them because I think they trusted him and thought he was a good guy, and most of us didn't, and we were sort of like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but it was a little bit odd. So, point being, now roll forward, his wife decides to sue the church, Mosey, which, good job. They're winning, they hire some attorneys, they're winning, everything's looking good, and boom, one day, they fire the attorneys, they pull out, the case is over, everyone's like, what the hell happened, right? The next thing we know, there's old Marty Rathbun, and what is he doing? Making videos, basically tearing down and making posts against Tony Ortega, who's someone most of us respect greatly. He's a journalist who has the underground bunker and has exposed a lot of great things. Karen De La Care, who's also a person who has surviving Scientology, many videos exposing many deep things the church doesn't want known, etc. And now he's making these videos throwing Lawrence Wright under the bus. Hello! Lawrence Wright is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author who wrote Going Clear, among many other books that he's written and is well known for. So for Marty, who is like Joe Nobody compared to Lawrence, to start taking him through the cleaners, it's kind of great for us because he looks like such a bozo, and it just proves they're big know-it-alls, which they are, and bullies. But my point in it is I just want to add, mine is more like colorful experience, right? It's not legal. It's not, it could be legal. I don't know. But I don't think it is. But it shows you a side of them that he's trying to say, oh, no, they don't have anything to do with that, right? You know, the GO ended, Office of Special Affairs started, and everything changed, and everything's like all glowing white and different than what Lawrence said. No, not true. Okay, so I could make 10 videos telling you stuff, but I'm going to make one, just one, about the Lawrence Wollersheim, which was in the 80s, and for many of you, it's before your time, right? The internet was not out, so information was very, very scarce, let's just say. You know, people they hadn't heard the word XENU, right? They didn't know that. And Scientology was very big on keeping it out of the transcripts because they didn't want the public to know. Okay, so, and I had started with them in '79. They asked me to handle Richard Tenney in Clearwater, Florida. I did, so I kind of went from nobody up to call Tori. She can handle anything, right? So now I'm in the Wollersheim thing. I want to be in the courtroom. I do, because I knew Larry. I just wanted to. I was in the church. I wanted to be in the courtroom. They said, oh, no, only OT7s. But Bill Yachty got me in, so I'm in there. Okay, so first of all, the first thing that I did, just to let you know that the judge knew me because of this, Margaret Singer, an author, and someone who very well exposed the church, stands up talking about fair game, or sits there talking about fair game. And I stand up and say, Your Honor, that's not true. And he doesn't tell me to shut up. He listens to me, and I say, that was canceled years ago. It's not true. And I really believed that. I really did until 2000, July 19th or 20th, when I escaped out, and they canceled my van. That was the first time I thought maybe all what these critics had been telling me is true, right? Okay, so roll forward. Now we're in the Wollersheim trial. I'm out in the hall. And they had gotten the judge to promise he would not let OT3 into the courtroom. That was part of the deal. Now this is, Marty says in video 9, you couldn't cough during the Wollersheim trial. You couldn't cough without an HQ OK. You'd be purged and expelled if you messed with the judge, right? Judge Swearinger. Okay, so there you go. That's Marty's quote. This is my story on it. Okay, I'm out in the hall. Ken Hoden was the president of the Church of Scientology. Ken Hoden comes out and says to me, Tori Bazazian at the time, that was my married name, do whatever you have to do. You have Kakan status, meaning I can do anything and they will not throw me under the bus, per them, which really doesn't exist. But At the time, I believed it. And he said, just do whatever you have to do to handle it. The execs are in the audience today. We've got to make sure the OT3 stuff doesn't get in. That you've got to handle the judge, right? And I'm like, okay, I will. And I'm like, what am I going to do, right? This is always me, but I'm kind of good in that kind of situation. So, okay, we go in. Wollersheim's kind of talking about dreaming and this and that. And I think, okay, this is it. He's going to roll into the OT3 stuff. So I kind of jump up. And Wollersheim's attorney jumps up and he says, she can't talk, she can't talk. And the judge kind of points down and he goes, sit down. And I think, oh God, he's talking to me. And he says, Mr. Cooley, Cooley was, I get it mixed up. Mr. O'Reilly, which was Wollersheim's attorney, you sit down. She might have something important to say. So he sits down and then the judge says to the jury, I would like everyone to leave so she can talk to me without you getting influenced. So they all leave the courtroom, and now it's just me and him, the executives and the attorneys, and some people in the audience. And he says, looking out at me, he says, all right, what would you like to say? And I say, and you have to get, I'm not testifying, I'm just there as a person in the audience, right? So, but the president of the Church of Scientology has said, do whatever you have to do to handle this. So I'm doing it, right? Which is a little bit of manipulation, you got to admit, right there. Okay, so I say, I need to say something. And he says, what do you want to say? And I say, look, you promised us that you would not let the OT3 materials into the courtroom. But Larry is starting to get into the OT3 materials. And he looks at me very calmly and he goes, well, then why isn't Mr. Cooley, your attorney, saying anything about this? And I don't faint. I really don't. But I'll tell you, I was very, very close to fainting because all the execs were there. I don't know if Miscavige was in the audience, but a bunch of them were. And supposedly, per Marty, he was there over everything. So he should have known about this if he was. And it's a little bit of meddling with the judge. Okay, so, I mean, he'll bullshit it and say, oh, it was just a question. It didn't matter. But it did matter. It did change things for a little while. They still won. The church still won. Or the church lost and Wollersheim won. But it was just long haul. But anyway, he says to me, why didn't Mr. Cooley, your attorney, say anything? And I nearly faint, and then I have to think about it. And I say, okay, well, quite honestly, in all due respect, Mr. Cooley is not OT3. I am. At that point, all the executives start jumping up. I'm OT3, I'm OT3, I'm OT3, I'm OT3, and I see it too, that kind of thing. And so that is just a little bit of coloring of how these people do manipulate things. The Church of Scientology manipulates all kinds of things. I could make videos for the next week telling you different things that I was asked to do. It's always tricky because they keep it very compartmentalized so you don't really realize the whole full picture and how bad it is. You just don't get it. It's just like, can you do this? And it's like, yeah, I guess so. That kind of thing. So Marty, I just want to tell you, you are so on the wrong side of the track. We, the ex-Scientologists, the critics, Anonymous, the never-ends, the media even now, we all can speak about truths. We can say, look at both sides, make up your own mind. Because we know one thing, if they look at both sides, and you know it too, they're going to decide. You're not going to change it. You've got to know that. There's no way you're going to change the truth of what went down. You're not. You can try to bullshit it for a while, but you see people popping up, and you could throw me under the bus, you threw Jesse Prince under the bus, you Gary under the bus. It's like, you know what? You're on the wrong side of the tracks, man. You have a wife, you have a son, you should be thinking about them because you know what? You're digging in deeper every single day. And I don't care what he has on you. You know what? Stand up and say it. Get on the right side of the tracks, man, because you are screwing up every single day. It's good for us. It's fine, because we know you're lying through your teeth. But you can't say, and neither can Miscavige, and neither can the church, look at both sides. Make up your own mind. You can't say that. Because you know if people look at both sides, they're going to make up the right decision, which is stay way away from them. That's all. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to give you a little coloring of the Church of Scientology and how they do manipulate people and things, including judges, from the top down, from the president on down. There you go. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend.